Welcome to Saved Rust. Today I'm going to show you my 1942 Harley Davidson WLC. It is originally a Canadian military Harley. It is a 45 cubic inch, 750 cc 3-speed model, tank shift, foot clutch, kickstart, rigid frame with a Springer fork. My dad bought this in November 2020. My dad got it running the same day. It had been sitting for a few years. Over the course of the winter, we rebuilt it and finished it in spring of 2021. We rebuilt it in a military look and also adding the military numbers to the tank. The day we added the numbers to the tank, my dad gave me the motorcycle. I am now a member of the 45ers Motorcycle Club, a group of flathead lovers. The reason my dad gave me this motorcycle is because these numbers are the day I was born.
Follow along as we show you how we got the bike and how we rebuilt it and to what it is today. So this is November 2020. The bike had been sitting for a few years. The original owner got it in 1968 and rebuilt it in 1987. I looked at the bike actually in the late 90s, and it was this yellow, and he was not selling it, or he didn't have any extra parts. But I was lucky enough to get the chance to buy it, and it turned out it was about a block away from where I had originally seen it 20 some odd years earlier. So this is a 1942 Harley WLC, obviously in civilian trim. So there was no military parts left when we got it. We got it running that day, went through all the gears, it shifted well, it started and stopped. So we did a rebuild on it. We wouldn't say restoration, we rebuilt it with the sole purpose of just getting rid of the yellow paint. It was horrible. And just giving it a bit more of a military look. So as you can see, this was actually the same day I got running. I just decided to start stripping it right away. Stripped it down, repainted everything, starting with the frame and a bunch of other parts. The entire rebuild took about 6 months in total from start to finish. Everything was repainted, found new parts, took anything that was chrome off and used it on another project. The wheels were rebuilt, new bearings, went through all the brakes, new bushings in the forks, new C-post bushing, new bearings in the forks, in the neck, just everything. Anything that needed to be replaced, we looked at it and rebuilt it. One of the things we like to do is work on these bikes, these old 1942 Harleys, and put them back to at least a military look. This one is using civilian fenders. We didn't have an extra set of military fenders at the time. But, it's nice to restore them to a military look so that people remember those who served, those who died, those who fought for our countries. And, it was because of bikes like this that aided them. They were able to persevere and win the war. So it's nice to take these bikes that had been kind of civilianized and put them back to a military look. It gives people a sense of they can connect with it because it's in front of them again. And these bikes were so well made that, 80 years later, you can still ride them. You can still go down the highway at 50, 60 miles an hour and more than capable of riding them all day. my main ride is a 42 Harley, and you can't kill them. They're just unbelievable bikes. They're really well made. While we were building this, I had my son help out with multiple things, holding bolts, wrenching on stuff. I mean, there's multiple videos of him working on my bikes too with me, and it's nice to be able to show them how to do things. Just if it's the smallest task, at least they're learning something, as opposed to just watching TV or video games nowadays. This is very important. I always wanted to put military numbers on this bike when I was done. And what I did is the first C on a military number is Commonwealth. The second C represents motorcycle. It's a designation that the Canadian Army had given. And then I was trying to ponder what numbers to put. So I used Waylons' birthday, the day he was born. And that's how those numbers came to be. So when the time came that the numbers got put on, thanks to our friend Amy, she painted them onto the tank as well as the apron, the front windshield apron. And that was the day I decided, well, it's got Waylon's birth date on it. It might as well be his bike. So I gave it to him. And, in a couple of years, he'll be able to ride next to me on matching 1942 Harleys. And if I remember correctly, between my blue one and this one, I think there's only 369 numbers away from each other. So they were probably in the same batch sent or used for World War II. As a member of the 45ers Motorcycle Club, which is a club that's for flathead lovers, for flathead guys, 45s, big inch flatheads, I thought, well, since I've given Waylon this bike, I looked into it, and with Clint's help from the 45ers Motorcycle Club, we got Waylon as an honorary member. So he might be the youngest one in the club, and that makes me proud because it's just a cool club to be in, and he's got a 45, might as well. This is a WLC. That means it's a Canadian military Harley. WLA would have stood for American. So the Canadian government, I believe, ordered 18,000 of these bikes. And there are differences between the Canadian and the American. The Canadian has interchangeable wheels as opposed to the American, which has an integral brake drum. There are differences in the front fender lights. There's differences on the toolboxes, and that can go on the year, on the model. On the 42 Harleys, they had a front fender toolbox, which the Americans never had. The Canadian bikes, it's easy to point them out because they never had the scabbard for the gun. They never had one on any of their bikes. If you ever get a chance to ride one of these bikes, I highly recommend you do it. It is so fun. First off, it's a Kickstart. I mean, these things are low compression and they're easy to start. So even to the youngest kid or to the oldest man, these things are fairly easy to start. They are a foot clutch, tank shift, 6-volt, just fun bikes to ride and tough, really tough bikes. It's not the same as a new bike. There is a lot more involved when you're riding down the road with these and shifting. It's just a lot more fun. I mean, that's one of the reasons I love them is it's just fun to ride. The 45 motor started in 1929 and ended in 1973. It's a 45 cubic inch, 750cc bike, and these powered the WLCs, the WLAs, the WLs, the Survey cars, and the WR racers, the WLDRs. So they had all kinds of different purposes. They're actually a very underrated motor, and I think only now people are starting to realize what these motors can do. Quite amazing. Here is Waylon the day he got his membership into the 45ers Motorcycle Club. It was a bit of a surprise for him. He wasn't prepared for it. I didn't tell him about it, but he was pretty excited when he got the letter. He got to put a sticker on his bike. He's got his official lifetime membership. Pretty excited kid. Stay tuned for more and subscribe to Save the Rust. Have a great day.